Hi, friend. I am Marguerite, your host, and I am back for our special October podcast series. We will be talking about the 10 common frustrations customers face when contacting builders in Africa in collaborations with Les Établissements Fara Mendy, one of the leading construction companies in Senegal. We're so excited to bring you a full series of conversations that dive deep into the challenges many customers experience when reaching out to builders across the continent and how you can overcome it. About my sponsor and collaborator and friend Farah Mendy, he is an entrepreneur from the diaspora who went back home. This is also a success story that I can't wait to share with you. He's going to be on the podcast. He'll share his business. He's built $1 million business in back home in Africa, and he's doing fantastically well, working on huge projects and family homes and schools and institutions. He's doing it all, and his clients are just so fond of his work and so outspoken about the satisfaction that they have toward this business. So he's definitely one of my top favorite entrepreneurs and success story that I always reference to, and I am so delighted that we can work these podcast series with him. So in today's episode, we would dive into three key frustrations in it that we will be covering. Just go in depth, provide context, data, and solutions for listeners. Going back to the October, we're diving into frustrations and conversations, not just me, but I'll have guests coming on. One entrepreneur I already mentioned, Farah Mendy, will be on the here sharing his experience and sharing more expertise. And we will have a client who's also going to come in and share her experience within the construction realm. And when you try build a home or business in Africa, whether you are part of the diaspora looking to reconnect with your roots, or an investor seeking opportunities in Africa's booming construction market, this episode is just for you. Why is it important? Building in Africa is filled with potentials. You know it, I know it, we all do. But it's also not without challenges. We've heard from so many of you about the struggles you've faced, whether it's unexpected costs, unreliable contractors, or navigating local laws. Today, we're going to talk about these issues head on and, more importantly, how to overcome them. Before we get started, make sure you hit that follow button or subscribe so you don't miss out on our upcoming articles and episodes this October. We'll be tackling these challenges in even more details, offering tips and tricks to make your next project a success. What to expect this month? We're focusing on top 10 frustrations customers face when contacting builders in Africa, from rising construction costs to the fear of getting scammed. We're going to break down each one over a series of 3 articles, and will be released weekly. And we also have a breakdown of 3. We have podcasts and articles. So the 3 articles that I'm talking about is the first one: why building costs in Africa are higher than expected and how to stay on budget. The second article would be how to avoid scams and find trustworthy contractors in Africa. The third one would be navigating Africa's complex construction regulations and land laws. You have all, when the articles are ready, we will share them within the podcast, the links to our website, and we will also share our today's sponsors, Fara Mendy, business informations, and then let's dive into our today's topic. So I'll be covering just a clarification. These articles will be covered. The topics that I just mentioned will be covered in articles, and we also have upcoming podcasts. So to make sure to subscribe for more insights, tips, and stories from real investors and builders who've been through these experiences firsthand. So for today, the 3 key frustrations, I'll explore more in depth, provide context, data, solutions for you guys. So the first frustrations that I've heard the most is high construction costs compared to expectations. Many investors are surprised by how quickly costs can spiral out of control when building in Africa. There are several reasons for this. including fluctuating material prices and unreliable infrastructure. Uh, some data. The World Bank report, one World Bank report, I don't remember the name specifically, but a World Bank report found that construction costs in sub-Saharan Africa are often 15 to 30% higher than in other developing regions, due to a variety of factors, including limited availability of high quality material and specialized labor. My advice: one way to manage this is by demanding detailed, itemized quotes from your contractor. Make sure to account for potential price increases in materials and insist on regular cost updates to keep everything detailed. I myself received a detailed quote from Fara Mendy. Boy, it was detailed. He took his time to walk me through the code for my home many years back, and then it was absolutely detailed. He went through every steps, and then it was just fantastic. He made me smarter after that conversation. I know nothing, not much about building, but now I can tell you from the interaction that I have with him on a regular basis regarding the construction and the collaboration we do together. He's definitely thorough when he offers us quotes. So we had another client from the US who started building in the car. Halfway through the project, the costs were double what they expected. They hadn't factored in the rising costs of imported materials. By reworking the project plan and sourcing local alternatives, we helped to bring the project back on track. Second frustration, lack of trustworthy contractors and fear of being scammed. Finding a trustworthy contractor is one of the biggest challenges, especially for those living abroad. Leave your cousin alone. Your cousin who's a farmer is not the specialist to build your home or to put together a team of builders and manage the construction site and project timeline. Just leave him alone and work with professionals. When you get a quote, red flags. When the quote is dirt cheap, no way. Building a home or building a something for your business is one of the major investment in your life. So make sure you find that good guy who's going to give you a real quote and will give you something decent. When it's dirt cheap, first red flag, don't go for it. Call me. So sadly, you have so many unscrupulous builders out there who might overcharge, disappear with deposits, or deliver poor quality work. I've seen it all, and I know you have too, or you have heard about it. And just to back this up with data, a report by Transparency International found that corruption and fraud in the construction sector are rampant in certain African regions. This creates a sense of unease for diaspora investors who often feel like they're taking a huge risk. And it is a risk. It's risky when you're trying to do it abroad. So as a solution, the best way to protect yourself is to do your homework. I can't stress this out enough. Work with contractors who have verifiable reference, are licensed, and are recommended by others in the diaspora. Especially if you're in the diaspora, look for those ones that have reference and into the diaspora. Check reviews and ask for past project examples. When you work with somebody like Fara Mendy, he has numerous videos of his work, references, and customer reviews. You are safe. And another tip, last story, I promise. We've seen too many cases where people lose money to unreliable contractors. One of our collaborators had to hire 6 times over the same project and restart the project over and over because the original builder disappeared with their deposit, and she's going to be here on this podcast to share her information, and you'll be stunned. But of course, the guy who saved the day is absolutely Fara Mendy. He's the contractor that she's working with, and she is profoundly happy with the work he's been doing. So, this is how we clear contracts and regulation. Thankfully, we help clients in those kind of situations with clear contracts and regular check-ins, among other stuff that we. And the last frustration is most definitely slow project timelines that don't match projected deadlines. Late timelines are incredibly frustrating. Off the top complaints we hear from clients. When you're managing a project remotely, those delays can lead to extra costs and major headaches. According to McKinsey's study, infrastructure projects in Africa are often delayed due to supply chain issues, material shortage, and labor strikes. These delays can add months to your timeline, months and months to your timeline, especially if you're importing materials. As a solution, or my advice, avoid this, we recommend setting up a clear project timeline with your contractor that includes specific milestones, regular communication, and contingency plans for delays are crucial. Always expect the unexpected. Oh my gosh, my son said that 2 days ago. All right, I give it back to you. Always expect the unexpected and plan for it. We once had a project in Sally that hit a roadblock because the material shipments were delayed by weeks. By having a backup plan and working with local suppliers, we managed to keep things moving and stay within a reasonable time frame. So to recap all of this, I'm almost done. Today we've discussed the 3 biggest frustrations: high costs, untrustworthy contractors, and delayed timelines. These are real challenges, but with the right approach, they can be managed successfully. So coming up next, in the next episode, we will dive into how to navigate Africa's complex construction regulations and the challenges of securing land. Don't miss it. Make sure to follow and subscribe. We would have a guest on that one, and it's going to be fabulous. If you're facing any of these challenges or have concerns about starting your project, we're here to help. Contact us for a free consultation to get expert advice and reliable contractors for your next project in Africa. Bye. See you soon.